It's an inspirational yet practical blueprint for overcoming adversity, achieving unstoppable self-confidence, and attaining your goals for personal and professional success. Our next guest's story of personal transformation and success is both poignant and inspirational.
And here to tell you more about mastering a healthy self-image, the guidebook to real happiness and enormous success, and how it could change your life, is Darrell Knoch. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Darrell, let's start with something else. Of course, we're going to talk about your book, Mastering a Healthy Self-Image, but you were so gracious to give us these coins in the green room before the segment starts. The coin says, "I am grateful for," and it's a gratitude coin. You've given out thousands of these. Give us the story behind them.
Well, about 7 years ago, I was doing a seminar in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was driving down the road, going back to my home. At the time, I lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is only about a 2-hour drive, and I was daydreaming about, I had had the good fortune of creating 5 companies that I had taken national and international. I literally grew up in the ghetto of Chicago. My sister had literally crushed my face, so I grew up with a crushed face when I was 1 year old. Kids were not any kinder back then than they are today, and so I got joked with all the time about the fact that I had a real crushed face and a crushed nose. I joke and say it's taken about 15 hours of surgery to get me to look this pretty again.
You've succeeded quite well.
I thought to myself, you've had a magical life. I had literally created about $2.5 billion in revenue in my companies over the course of that time frame, and I said, you need to remind yourself, be grateful for today, because I always kept striving for what's next, what's next, what's next. And I said, this is it, a gratitude coin that I will touch every day that will remind me to be more grateful for today.
And it does seem like you live every single day. I mean, just your positive energy. When you walked into the green room, you can feel it. You've got that happiness. You've got that positivity about you.
Well, I believe that that's a choice. We can choose to have that positivity, or we can choose to have negativity. And I decided to write my book so that I could touch the world even a little bit more than I do with this coin.
Sure.
I wanted people to know that they can have prosperity, they can have success if they choose and they educate themselves and they go forward.
So how does the gratitude tie into a healthy self-image?
Well, I believe that gratitude is the foundation stone for happiness. And if you're happy, then you feel better about yourself. The more you feel better about yourself, your self-esteem rises. I went through a significant process to raise my self-esteem, and I wanted to show you this. This is a little card that I try to give out to people also, and that card, it literally says, I like myself, I love my life, I'm excited, I'm happy, and I add brightness to the life of everyone I meet.
Wow.
And I tell people, if you say that to yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say that, that really starts to build your self-esteem.
It really makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. And what would you say, what advice would you have, aside from what you've already mentioned, to get people to look past what other people think about them? Because I feel like that really deters people from finding that happiness.
Well, you have to pull within yourself and a reason to be excited about life.
Okay.
So what I suggest people do is they literally daydream. I put on a live seminar a couple of times a year where I teach people how to daydream. And I teach them how to write that daydream down, and then how do you make it happen. So building that level of excitement really is what starts you on that path. So I have the good fortune of, I'm going to be at the Bookman's here this Saturday from 1 to 3, along with a variety of other authors, and so I would love to have people come out and meet me and talk about how to raise their self-esteem. I would love to pass out as many great tips as I can this Saturday.
And maybe a few coins, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, Darrell, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. And you can learn more about Mastering a Healthy Self-Image, the guidebook to real happiness and enormous success, by going online to truewealthuniversity.com.